and welcome to this week's LOLC Securities Weekly Market Roundup. I am Tharandu Amarasekara.
And I am Megara Vijayamana. This is the sound of profitability.
Sri Lanka recorded foreign worker remittances in November 2025 for the value of $673.4 million, bringing the total remittances for the first 11 months to $7.19 billion.
The cumulative figure represents a 20.7% year-on-year increase compared with the same period in 2024, reflecting continued resilience in overseas employment earnings despite global economic pressures. Remittances remain one of Sri Lanka's key sources of foreign exchange, providing critical support to household incomes, external balances, and overall economic stability. The CBSL data underscores the growing contribution of migrant workers to the country's recovery, with sustained inflows helping strengthen foreign reserves and support macroeconomic confidence.
Sri Lanka's economy in the third quarter of 2025 picked up the pace and maintained an upward trajectory for a second consecutive quarter, despite losing momentum since the third quarter of 2024.
The Department of Census and Statistics confirmed that the country's GDP grew by 5.4% in the third quarter of 2025, which was up from 4.9% in the second quarter and slightly up in comparison to 5.3% achieved last year. The economy declined since peaking at 5.5% in the third quarter of 2024 to 5.4% in the fourth quarter of 2024 and 4.8% in the first quarter of 2025. Another encouraging development is that the third quarter of 2025 marked a positive growth rate for the ninth consecutive quarter starting from the third quarter of 2023. In the full year of 2024, the economy achieved a complete turnaround, posting 5.5% growth as against a contraction of 2.3% in 2023. Issuing a communique on the release of the National Accounts estimates, the DCS said agricultural, industrial, and services activities recorded increases of 3.6%, 8.1%, and 3.5% respectively.
Total private sector borrowings for October 2025 was recorded at 246.1 billion rupees, bringing the total private sector borrowings for the year to 9.76 trillion rupees. This is a 24.1% increase compared to the previous year.
According to the latest Central Bank of Sri Lanka's data, domestic banking sector credit to the private sector in August amounted to rupees 239.2 billion, while credit from foreign banks fell by 12.4 billion rupees. The outstanding private sector debt stock from domestic banks during the first 8 months of 2025 was rupees 8.68 trillion, up 8.3% from a year ago. Total private sector borrowings in August was the highest for the year, behind June. In April, credit demand was low at rupees 87 billion, a development linked to the Sinhalese Tamil New Year holidays. February saw rupees 105 billion in demand for credit, whilst in January suffered a reduction of rupees 4.6 billion following a recent high of 193 billion rupees in credit demand in December 2024. Outstanding credit stocks to the government grew 4.8% year-on-year to 8.38 trillion as of end of August, with credit from domestic banks up 19.5% year-on-year to rupees 6.44 trillion.
Here's Megara with the corporate highlight of the week.
Here is Tharindu with the ESG update. According to Minister Nalinda Jayatissa, the Urban Development Authority is offering a land at Perahara Mawatha, Kollupitiya, Colombo 3 on a 99-year lease basis for a mixed development project.
The Cabinet approved a proposal to look for investors for the land of 23.1 purchase in implementing a mixed development project, including residential development. The Cabinet has approved inviting investment proposals for the use of the relevant land for hotel or commercial purposes, subject to the condition that 50% of the land to be used for residential purposes. Sri Lanka's Cargill's Bank is looking to raise a rights issue at 8.5 rupees per share to support its lending activities. The company stated in a stock exchange filing that it will issue 294,200,000 ordinary voting shares at a ratio of 14 new ordinary shares for every 45 existing ordinary shares. The issue is expected to raise 2,500,700,000 rupees in capital. The net proceeds of the rights issue after deducting the associated issue cost are intended to be utilized to support lending activities. The issue is subject to regulatory and shareholder approvals.
Here is Tharindu with the ESG update.
The government of Sri Lanka has approved the awarding of contracts to build 50 megawatt wind power plants in Mana after calling for tenders according to the international competitive bidding process.
Consortium of Vidul Lanka PLC and David Peris Motors Lanka Limited will get one 50 megawatt plant and Windforce PLC will get the second plant, a post-cabinet statement said. The two plants in Mullikula, Mana have brought the lowest tariffs so far.
And now it's time for the international news highlight.
Nasdaq, the second largest stock exchange in the US, is seeking regulatory approval to extend its trading time to allow its equity securities and exchange traded products to trade for 23 hours a day.
The plan aims to meet growing investor demand for overnight access to US stocks, particularly from international markets. Under the proposal, Nasdaq would operate a daytime session from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. ET, largely unchanged from current trading hours, and introducing a new overnight night session from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. ET. Trading would pause for 1 hour each weekday for system maintenance and processing corporate actions. Overnight trading would offer limited functionality with fewer order types and reduced regulatory protections compared with regular market hours. Nasdaq stated it would launch the expanded hours only after market data systems are ready to support overnight trading.
And that's it for this week's LOLC Securities Weekly Market Roundup. No matter what investment decision you make it with the right intent. We will see you in a brand new week.